deceived him. Towards the end of Odili's tenure as governor of Rivers State, he called for a meeting to ask Wike's opinion on how he can end the political crisis between Amici and Celeste. And Wike told Odili, I was there and I know it, that they have spent almost 60 million naira, and that if the 60 million naira is given back to them, he believes the political crisis between Omeya and Amici will come to an end. And Odili, knowing who he is and how generous he is, instead of giving him 60 million, give him 100 million at the swimming pool in the old government house. Give him 100 million naira. We took that 100 million naira and vanished. Rather use that money to create more problem in Rivers State.
My people, una good day. Welcome back to Eke React. I'm back with another trending topic in Nigeria. So today matter na the one where they shake everywhere. So former Rivers State Governor Nelson Wike don dey face heavy gbasgbos as David Briggs don drag and come public. So in talk say Wike dey quick talk anyhow without thinking, and in demand say make Wike apologize to Dr. Peter Odili for wetin Wike don do am. You understand? So David Briggs even exposed one of the secrets where they between Wike and Peter Odili. So him been talk say Peter Odili don't give Wike 100 million before to settle scores. Say Wike carry the money disappear. So David Briggs also warn Wike that he should apologize to Dr. Peter Odili. Say if he no do say wahala fit happen as he go expose some of his secret for public. So my people, I go allow una to watch this video to the end. But what did you think? What did you think? My question is as in be say why Mr. Briggs dey vex like this for Wike? I be waiting Wike do wey warrant this kind reaction from Mr. Briggs. So I go like know what you think on the comment section. But don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you are new to this channel, and also like this video so that YouTube will recommend it to more people. Thanks.
And so I laugh the day he will say that he sold his property to finance Amici's legal struggle. Where did they have that money? 100 million naira of 2007 is over 100 million naira today, or even over 1 billion naira. He will never allow peace to reign in Rivers State, because that means he's going to lose out. And unfortunately, we will not fall our hands to see him. He is a cause of problem in Rivers State. He has caused so much problem that he will continue to cause problem. How can he on earth say that Peter Odili was dead and he resurrected him? When he came back like a prodigal son, if Peter Odili was not important, why did he come back again as a prodigal son? We cannot go to anybody who is not important or whose service is not relevant to him. Is he forgotten that when eventually the wife of the former president of this country, Patience, wants a confirmation, it was not the lady that confirmed that he should be supported. If that man is dead, will Patience take him to Odili's house for such confirmation? So it's very unfortunate. But it's so unfortunate that I felt so worried and concerned, like I've said, that Mr. President is quiet and see all these things happen. And like I've said, he is building his own maternity. I was there when they told Mr. President that all of them have been camped to APC. And Mr. President told us as Nigerians that yes, these people have crossed the Red Sea and therefore they cannot come back. Now they are saying that Mr. President is a liar, that they never crossed the Red Sea, and he's clapping for them. There is a limit to which anybody can endure things. But the most important thing is that we still believe that Nigeria has a future. And if we don't lay a very necessary and strong foundation for Nigeria today, then our future is going to be very bleak. I would not want that to happen. Yes, or Wike would have apologized to the Rivers State, or say a lot more that we know about it. He deceived Odili in 2007, collected money from him, and used that money to finance political crisis in Rivers State. And we witness to that fact. And the fact they cannot deny it.
Okay, sir, so before you go, while listening to him, though he did not make an elaborate statement about you, but he was saying he was going to say more about you, that you are a character that people should not take serious. Yesterday, live broadcast, he said so. How would you want to describe that man who you've already said last character? How would you want to describe him?
You know one thing you can't deceive people about? His character. Because character is public. Aspirations is hidden and personal. If my character is toxic, Rivers people will know that this man has a character that is very toxic. Who gets character today? It's at the public domain. I have said little or nothing about my perception of his character. But every household that is alive to happenings in Rivers State and Nigeria can tell you about his character. So I'm waiting for him to say something. I am not attacking person, I'm only saying what he has done. And whatever thing I have said about him are identifiable, they are verifiable, and of course there are other witnesses to confirm what I have said. That he deceived the governor, the former governor, collected 100 million naira from him with the view of bringing peace rather than fuel the peace, fuel the crisis, because he cannot strive where there is peace and strive well only when there is crisis. What he's doing now, people are moving on his behalf from one local government to the other. And that is because peace was fast returned to Rivers State since the judgment as a release of allocation to Rivers State government.
But if you want to work with him, and if he has this kind of character, people want to ask, did you, or people like you, make any personal effort to see that you try to talk to him? Did you make any effort to talk to him?
I'll tell you this. Wike is one person that will avoid anybody that knows can look at his face and tell him the truth. So I'm one of those he avoided between the period.
My name is Chief David Briggs. It is on record that I served under Dr. Peter Odili as his Commissioner for Works in his first tenure and Commissioner of Water Resources in his second tenure. But even before his emergence as the Governor of Rivers State, we have had a very good working relationship, and indeed a father and son relationship, when he was the Deputy Governor of the state and I was the Chairman of the Akuto Local Government Council. In spite of our political party differences, we worked together. He supervised me and has always directed me right.
I am not surprised in the person of Nyesom Wike, His Excellency, the present Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, because he's a man who speaks before he thinks. As a character, he's a man who can deny anything he says today, tomorrow. And he's a man who forgets his history so fast. I say so because I was so worried to hear him watch the television says that he resurrected Sir Dr. Peter Odili. In fact, he said, I brought him to life, he's dead. That is not only an insult to the person of Peter Odili, but an insult to Rivers people. And an insult to those of us who are his students and political children. I say so because Wike was not in any way our contemporary. He benefited, I repeat, he benefited from our initial struggle. We laid the foundation, called the structure, political structure in Rivers State, that others have been building. Wike as a person, and that is most important, cannot and will not survive where there is peace. And that is the problem we have in Rivers State today. If you note, since after the court judgment concerning the release of federal allocation to the state government, the state has been quiet and has been calm. There have been an increased political activities on the part of the governor, His Excellency Simfura, and while there is a decline in political activities on the part of Wike, Rivers State was fast enjoying peace. Wike had just decided to create this problem so that he will be the beneficiaries.
Well, the Rivers State problem is artificial. Governor Wike had his 8 years in office. When he was governor, he did perform maybe on road building, so he was focused on roads, probably, which I applaud him for that. But the truth, his tenure is overweight, and he ought to recognize that governors come and they go. They had Governor Spiff, who did wonderfully well, Okilo, Odili, Mechi, they came and went. So coming to perpetrate and aggrandize a Rivers State government powers to himself, that is unconstitutional, and no judge should support that. If, like I've read, the Supreme Court of Nigeria have held that held consistent with the Constitution of Nigeria, Federal Republic, that a state assembly member once elected on the party platform cannot cross carpet. That if a state assembly member cross carpets, he immediately relinquishes and vacates the seat. That is a Supreme Court decision. So what ought to happen to avoid these problems we're having in Rivers State? INEC should immediately adopt that and amend its policy. The State Electoral Commission, all states, that's how it's done in the US. Once the Supreme Court make a decision, that's a policy decision. Once it's published, all agencies that decision touches and concerns must immediately go back to their rule books and adopt that policy.
But sometimes these people, they go back to the court and get the court to place injunctions against removing them and all those kind of things.
But those judges ought to be disciplined, like I told you about the California State Middle Appellate judge that was disciplined. This is a Supreme Court decision that's not even 10 years old. And now this other person is violating that decision. So does it mean that, okay, what is the presidential effect of a Supreme Court judgment? If the Supreme Court will rule, for example, I just read on the newspapers that the governor of Edo State suspended local government chairman. But there's a subsisting Supreme Court decision that they don't have those kind of powers, the governor. So this governor ought to be impeached. He has violated the Constitution of Nigeria. So he ought to be impeached. So in light of the Rivers State Assembly situation, once they've decamped, those seats, the law is clear. No court should interpret a law that in the black letter is unambiguous. It says that if you decamp, you lose your seat. Any common man could be a judge on that. You don't need to have 3 PhDs, be a judge for 40 years to read. It's common. So even in law, there's a doctrine that says that when the Constitution or a statute is written in plain, ordinary language, it's not subject to technical interpretation. You adopt it. And that's what it says. The Supreme Court have clarified. No court should now come and second guess the Supreme Court. Because part of their duties as a judge, you've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution of Nigeria. And the final arbiter of what that Constitution stands for is the Supreme Court. Is binding. And it's time for the Supreme Court to start implementing and disciplining these judges that think that they are counter Supreme Court justices themselves. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, the average citizen doesn't know that once you say the sovereign republic of Nigeria, sovereign means people, not land. The sovereignty is the totality of the people coming together. They are the sovereign, right? So if we know that we are the sovereign collectively, the Rivers State people could decide to rebel and remove a governor. If there's 3 million people, or even 500,000 people amassed at the State Assembly that they want this governor to go, guess what? You have to resign. Look at what happened in Kenya. So that is, the citizens are asserting themselves as the sovereign. Look at what happened in Syria. Where's the president? He ran away. Because the sovereign, the true sovereign, decided it's enough. But in Nigeria, if Wike is fighting with Governor Fubara, they were like, it's like out-of-body experience. They are seeing that they are fighting. But guess what? What they are doing is affecting you. That's why you can't fuel your car. That's why you can't buy, the prices of things has gone up. Because they are there with blinded eyes, closed ears, and absolutely self-centeredness, egotistical maniacs, if I may call it that way. That's how the political class in Nigeria. So they are working with blind eyes. They are not perceptive. Look, for example, in the US, a governor or a president could lose elections, a senator, based on the price of goods, commodities, or based on the price of medicine. If the Federal Republic of Nigeria were doing its job, they could go with the power of the federal government and negotiate with the medical, the medicine producers with that power and negotiate for the medicine on behalf of the Nigerian public. But they've not done that. What power does an Igbo trader has to go to Germany or India? What power does he have to negotiate? Whatever the price they gave him, that's what he's going to take. But if the State The state government decide to go to India with the resources. They meet with the MDs of these companies and say, well, and one day aspirin we're going to buy it at 10 naira, but we need about 1 million tablets. Guess what? It makes sense to them. But if you send one company, they leave it totally up to the again market forces. But even in America, the inventor of market forces, the government is always on the side. Like they negotiate for the prices of medicine. If you don't have insurance companies too, because they're big, they're bulk purchasers, they negotiate and they sell. That's how it's done all over the world. Here is not part of the public discourse. The affordability of medicine is not, it's just like, the only thing the political class think is to build roads that they cannot even maintain. Food pricing is not their concern. Medicine is not their concern. Security, as long as they have their sirens blowing and they're clearing their way, they feel contented. In California, that I've lived for 36 years, the governor doesn't drive around with sirens. Yet, the budget of California is more than the budget of Africa. The budget of California, if you piece together, is probably almost $5 trillion. When you piece all the budget from each city, each county, including the state and local governments, it's over $10 trillion. Yet, the governor, you'll be flying from Los Angeles to San Francisco, the governor is sitting next to you. When the waiters, the air hostess come, they give you the same small cup of soda or Pepsi. They gave me small granule to chew. So how come ours is different? Our budget is not even up to my children's school's district budget, the River State budget. How much is our budget? Look at Los Angeles School District budget, $20 billion. It's more than the budget of Nigeria. Yes. And yet, those people are so humble, they drive themselves. What is wrong with us? What happened to us? We turn ourselves to a banana republic. The sirens everywhere, not for emergency, but for politicians. Why? Where did they learn that from? In England, I'm sure, even the Prime Minister doesn't have a siren, doesn't drive around with a siren. Even the Queen doesn't drive around. Where did they learn that from? In the US, it's only the President and Vice, First Lady, and the Speaker that drive around with sirens. Or when there's the visiting president.
When you have, 2020 is hindsight. Perhaps we need to investigate that. Those investigations will lead to those issues about even how it came into our process. And I think what our appeal is to give us the benefit of that and we'll do a good job at that. Number two is to assure that the safety and security of the press corps is guaranteed by this party. And if it requires a review of our security architecture and what we do, we will need to do that. This had uncovered the need for us to reject that process. I can assure you that we will. On the second question, and then let me just say this, I hope you will accept this, and the fact that this party has said we regret this unfortunate incident, which ought and shouldn't have happened, and that it has no place in our process, in our system. I hope that will be sufficient enough. Having regard to our relationship and the partnership we have up till now, and then that it will not create the impression that you're not safe. This is a safe environment, you know that. This is an isolated incident of one rogue staff in the process. And we don't want that to be like you define us as such. So it is not a preponderance of what happened here. I hope this would assuage and give us and you the confidence that we can work together. And secondly, that you can be safe in this environment. And thirdly, that you will not feel the need not to cover us. Because without you, we can't operate. And if we need democracy to go on and to be sustained in this country, of course you are the engine room for that. Yeah, on the second question, you recall that the Sun newspaper incidentally actually interviewed me on the issue of the Court of Appeal judgment relating to the position of the National Secretary. I'm sure you know the background to all the cases where we have two cases, two orders, and then there was the Court of Appeal. Two appeal court cases. And on 24th of December 2024, after consultation with the legal advisor, the office of legal advisor, it was confirmed that we have received the judgment on the two appeals, affirming Right Honorable S.K.E. Udeokoye as the National Secretary of the party. And the question was put to me that, what's the position of the party? And I said the background, and I'm repeating that exactly. We are a rule of law compliant party. We believe in this finality of the judicial process. We've always respected judicial pronouncement, and we will always abide by court judgment. And that is what I said. And the position of the party has not changed to that. We will, as a party, consistent with our position in the past, as rule of law compliant, we will obey the order of court. We will follow the processes and ensure full compliance with the pronouncement of the Court of Appeal, because that is the position as of today. So that is what it is, and I hope that clarifies if there's any ambiguity at all. As a party, we are rule of law compliant. We have received the judgment of the Court of Appeal that has affirmed Right Honorable S.K.E. Udeokoye as National Secretary of PDP, and we as a party are bound by that judgment because it's the highest judgment to date, and we will take appropriate action as required of a responsible political party to ensure that that decision of the law is complied with. I hope that clarified the question. The party, the People's Democratic Party, has respectfully called you to address a very unfortunate and regrettable incident that occurred at the National Secretariat yesterday, Monday, January 6, 2025. And I mean here at the Wadata Plaza. The leadership of the PDP has received a very disturbing report that the staff of our party, Mr. Emmanuel Okoronkwo, yesterday assaulted a correspondent of the Sun newspapers, Mr. Ndigusi Oji, locked out and forcefully prevented other journalists duly accredited to cover the activities of the PDP from gaining access into the premises of the National Secretariat of our party to conduct their legitimate duties. The PDP, as a party committed to the rule of law and the democratic tenets of freedom of the press, transparency, and openness, strongly condemns and completely dissociates itself from such act of violence and attack on members of the press and the institution of the media, which is critical to the activities of our party and the sustenance of democracy in our country. For clarity, and this is very important, for clarity, whereas the PDP National Secretariat is closed for secretarial activities to enable our staff participate in the usual activities with their families, it does not preclude anybody, any staff, and particularly the press, from having access to the Secretariat to conduct their legitimate business. Moreover, and this again is very important, Mr. Emmanuel Okoronkwo is not in the security department of the party and has no business whatsoever regarding the regulation of movements into the complex. He acted on his own in violation of the democratic and all-inclusive principles of which the PDP is known, and outside the code of conduct guiding activity of staffs at the PDP National Secretariat. The PDP is reputed for its uncompromising stand in support and defense of the constitutional freedom of the press, and cannot by any means or under any guise or directive whatsoever engage in or condone any act that tends to abridge such legitimate freedom of the media or any person for that matter. The National Working Committee of our party therefore assures that the issue will be handled in strict compliance with the party's established code of conduct, guiding activities of staff at the PDP National Secretariat to serve as deterrent against such condemnable act, which has no place whatsoever in the character and comportment of the PDP as a party in this country. The PDP regrets the incidents and assures of its unalloyed respect for the press, commitment to the press, and the freedom of the press, particularly members of the PDP Press Corps, as we continue as partners in progress for accountability, probity, and sustenance of democracy in Nigeria. I thank you very much and God bless you for listening. I acted alone. That is the preliminary investigation. This happened about 24 hours ago. All right? the best of investigators in the world will probably not even have that information that I'm having right now. We know, we have said he is a member. He acted alone from our preliminary investigation, but we have committed to you that we're going to go through our established procedure within the system to understand, and we'll come clean with this. One thing you can take from me is that we'll come out clear and clean to Nigerians, and particularly the press, because this is one of their own, and this is actually more deeper than being an individual attack on the person. It's actually about freedom of the press, which we hold very dear. So far, this is all we have. It's an ongoing, and our activities will begin. And don't forget that the Secretariat officially is on vacation. We'll be resuming on Monday. So, but this is so important to me. It's very personal. And that's why I said, look, we must find a way to engage and to, first of all, apologize for what has happened, express the party's regret, and establish the commitment that we have. One, for the defense of the freedom of the press. Secondly, and to ensure that any criminal act undertaken by a person who is the employer of our party cannot go on. I'm aware that from the reports that there have been a formal report within the police, there could be two tranches. Our party has the obligation to ensure that our staff conduct are in line with the procedures of the party and without prejudice to what is happening on the criminal and which is assault, and of course properly before the police. But I can say this. You said to me that you spoke. Did he confirm that statement that the individual that he gave instruction? If he did, that would be grossly irresponsible, and I would expect that he will not do that. But if he does, let this investigation lead to wherever it leads, and let's find out. I do not know if you have confirmed that from him, because if someone said I was directed by this person, I think it behoves on you to find out for him if he indeed spoke to Central Nine. Let him say either affirm or deny that. I can't speak to that fact, but like I said, the investigation is going on, and we will allow that investigation to lead to the conclusion to ensure that we know the facts, and wherever the facts takes us, we follow. They said Emmanuel Okoronko, who is the staff of this party, has no business at all with the security apparatus of the party. And I had no business whatsoever, that's the word, here at that time, particularly since we were on vacation. So he had no business being here. If he gets instruction from anywhere, wherever he claims to be, then he will take responsibility for those actions. We said from our preliminary that he acted alone. If he says he's acting on instruction, that will be his own deal to deal with. But I can say to you, nobody, this party did not give instruction to him. He has no business being here, and if he was here to have committed a crime, then he should bear the consequences, either personally or by whoever must have sent him, if indeed he was sent. Security. I can't speak to that until we go into more detailed investigation. So I won't be able to speak off cuff to say to you, this is what they did and what they didn't do. It is the investigation that will reveal exactly what happened, if there are lapses, but I do know that they're working closely to ensure that, of course, it comes before the police, because there's a criminal dimension to it. Apart from what we can do as a party, who are his employers, beyond that, the track of the criminal aspect will continue the investigation. We will be able to ensure that we support and provide all information that will lead to the end, so that we know exactly what happened, so that such incidents will not happen in the future. That's our own interest, particularly against the press, and for that matter, against anybody, any member of the party. This is not a party of violence. We cannot condone and will not accept any violent conduct within our premises or anywhere throughout the country.
Thank you, Chairman of the Press Conference.